up, y'all? Got us some chill jams today. Chill. What am I fucking talking about? I mentioned this band in a previous video. I finally pulled out the CD and decided to play it. Not enough people talk about Revocation, Empire of the Obscene. I think this is their first album. They got a pretty good catalog of stuff. You know, kind of do a lot. But yeah, I was playing that Molder, and I think that old school sound. And then the Revocation kind of has an old school sound as well, but a lot more progressive. Got that progressive sound. Like studied our Chuck Schuldiner. Yeah, I dig this album. I think we started on track 5. Wow, man, that glare is fucking killing me this morning. Track 5. What we said that was? Alliance and Tyranny. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So yeah, got some modern Revocation. Hey, get out! Dang cat. Cat got in the video. That's pretty chill, yo. Yeah. This used to be one I kept in the truck. Long drives. Yeah. Yeah, they got some big jam parts, like with no vocals, just straight jamming out. So some of y'all been commenting band suggestions. I look into as many as I can and try to do something with what y'all are suggesting. Some of it is okay, and some of it's on point, and some of it's just fucking unique, you know. But one of them, I did not write down who brought this up. Black Witchery from Florida. Black Witchery. Anybody know that one? Apparently they did a tribute to Creator and a tribute to Morbid Angel. They did Tormentor by Creator and Unholy Blasphemies by Morbid Angel. That's pretty sick. I didn't actually listen to those songs, though. I did listen to, oh yeah, Upheaval of Satanic Might. That's fun. Yeah, that's a fun one. It's a 2005 album. That's not bad. They got a live in San Antonio and Vancouver. That's all. That's live in San Antonio and Vancouver, in parentheses. It doesn't say that, but that's just kind of funny. Man, they got a hell of a discog, man. Hell of a catalog here. But somebody suggested Black Witchery, and thank you. That Black Witchery's pretty good. I have to keep that in mind. Next time I'm looking for albums, see if I can find any Black Witchery. I think this is just an instrumental song. Pretty good, man. Just the headbanging. Just driving in your vehicle. Bobbing to that one. That's the end of it. Alright, what was after that? That was all Alliance and Tyranny. Now we have Suffer These Wounds. Yeah, I liked early Revocation. Never really checked out their later stuff. Yeah, that's hot shit. I can live with that. That's good stuff. Cat. Cats getting back in the video. Oh, and so, I don't know which came first, the chicken or the egg, but I saw this band on the YouTube algorithm. I think we can all thank that wonderful YouTube algorithm sometimes. I get so many comments saying, thank you, YouTube algorithm, for discovering me. Not you, fish. Not you. But thank you. So the YouTube algorithm, Revenge. It's a Canadian black metal band. I think they want to say chaotic black metal. Revenge. I think somebody else might have commented this, and it was already showing up in my suggested. And then I noticed Justin even had this for sale. But their album titles are like Violation, period, Strife, period, Abominate. Like, all their albums are named weird shit like that with those little periods in there. It's kind of weird. Oh, and they're also Canadian. Yeah, this is another Canadian band. How about that? Damn, I've been getting a lot of Canadian bands to listen to lately. I don't know why that is. I don't care. Canadian bands are awesome. Canadian maple syrup is awesome. You know that shit you get in America? In the jars? Like in glass bottles, and they're like $10 a bottle, and it's only like a little bit of maple syrup. It's delicious and you love it. But did you know freaking Canadians are holding out on us Americans? Canadians, I'm on to you. I've had Canadian friends that worked down here in the States. They had family and home up there, and they'd go back. Did not realize the Canadians were holding out on their maple syrup. Canadians, I'm on to y'all. I know about your maple syrup racket. I know y'all got the good stuff up there. It doesn't come in a glass pretty little container. It comes in like a tin can. But you gotta take like the bottle opener, the can opener, and chunk on one on each side, and then pour it out. Ooh. Man, I'm gonna put this out there. I got my mom to make me some homemade blueberry fucking pancakes with some blueberries that were off a local farm. Man, and that Canadian maple syrup. And I found some fancy ass fucking bacon. Took that over to mom's house. Was like, you make that, you make the pancakes. I got this bacon covered, and we got this delicious maple syrup. So, just Canada. Got my eye on y'all. I know what y'all are up to up there. I think that free healthcare thing's just a ploy. They want us to think that that's the coolest thing Canada has. It's that maple syrup. They got a racket. They got a stranglehold on that. And by God, maybe this current administration with these tariffs, we can finally get the real Canadian maple syrup. So yes, this turned into a joke about maple syrup when I'm supposed to be talking about black metal. But Revenge is black metal from Canada. I like how the metal archives here, if you've ever, like, when you're like the genre and themes, it's like genre, black/death, whatever. Those are always trustworthy. But themes. Militant Satanism. Militant Satanism. Damn. I don't know what a militant Satanist is. I take that back. I've met Wes Weaver and that dude from Vital Remains. I knew those dudes. Yeah, you'd probably say they were militant Satanists. Yeah, you'd probably say that. And Paul Ledney from Profanatica. That looks like a militant Satanist. I'm gonna see it, Profanatica and Paul Ledney. I have a sneaking suspicion I read an interview and like Grimoire of Exalted Deeds back in the day, where Paul Ledney was talking about American black metal and how that was different than your Norwegian or Swedish or Finnish or Danish, but American black metal. I think that's what Ledney and some of the other boys, like in Vital Remains, were trying to do, is have that American black metal, which over here we just call it blackened death metal, or just death metal. Like Immolation, Dawn of Possession, that was another American black metal, but that name never took off. I don't understand. So, y'all comment down below. Is that whole American black metal thing, like Profanatica, Immolation, Incantation, Vital Remains, Imprecation, is that American black metal, or is that Blackened Death, or just death metal? Or satanic death metal? Like, Deicide, I would definitely call satanic black metal. I mean, satanic death metal. Like, that didn't have a black metal vibe to it. All those other bands have a dark, gloomy atmosphere to them. Well, I love Deicide, but that's more death metal because it's more headbangy, mosh pit riffs. You know? Yeah. Once again, for those skipping around in the fucking video, it's Revocation, Empire of the Obscene, Revocation's first album. So anyways, I just want to see if I can get a conversation going, because I know back in the day, reading Metal Maniacs, and well, fuck Metal Maniac, but reading Grimoire of Exalted Deeds, you knew you were the shit if you were reading that, or the Resound magazine from Relapse Records. There was a few other ones. You know, that American death black metal, they just kind of... Some of those dudes were serious. You know that that G word that we're not supposed to say, but no gay black metal. That thing. I'm putting in quotations. Literally, that started from... y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm going to put this out there. Cradle of Filth had Principles of Evil made flesh, and then their demos. Now, not of us heard the demos. But Principles of Evil made flesh, that first Cradle of Filth album, was fucking amazing. Like, that was really heavy, really dark, really gloomy. That lead singer dude was growling, and he had some shrieks because it was black metal. But it was tough. It was tough and scary and mean. And Cradle of Filth was okay. Like, that early Principles album, that Principles of Evil made flesh, that album, you could listen to that and be cool back in the day. Like, the hardcore dudes, you know how, like, Justin talks. Like, there were hardcore dudes who were way worse at that than him. Like King Fowley and Dawn of the Dead, like how those guys act and talk. Like, that's how everybody was back then. Not everybody, but a lot of them were. You know, like, oh, no black metal, no wimpy black metal. That started on Dusk and Her Embrace, that second Cradle of Filth album. That's when it changed. That's when they went a little prettier, a little flowier and prettier with the music. And that's when people started saying the weak poser black metal. A lot of people I'm one of the ones, it's like, it's Dusk and Her Embrace where that kicked off. You old school dudes, jump in there. What do y'all know of that era? We'll get a conversation going. Somebody in the comments, Micah, you said this was an interactive channel. My God, that's a good theme for this channel. Let's make it interactive. I'm not talking to this camera. I'm not talking to myself. I'm talking to y'all. Comment down below. My content is coming from you half the time, and just me rambling about random shit. So, Revenge. Canadian black metal. I'm talking about that. Militant Satanism. The other part, Antichrist supremacy. Antichrist supremacy. Like, that's cool that they put that in there. Like, how does one be an Antichrist supremacist? How does that work? I'm not sure. I don't know, but I bet at this show I could probably get that answered. When I get to hang out with Attic and Profanatica, Brutal Baxter, and a couple other YouTubers, a couple other people in the comments coming out to that. Boy, it's going to be great. Hey, that's a couple weeks away, y'all. I'm excited. You excited? I'm excited. Anyways, so it was Revenge. We were talking about that. We're listening to Revocation, for those of you skipping around and not paying attention to what we're listening to. The fish wants to headbang. This is fish approved. Goldfish approved. You've got too much glare on you, Goldfish. Looking at my camera. Okay, so in the comments, oh, did y'all watch Justin's interviews the other day? He had John Gallagher. What was the other one he did? He had the dudes from Malignancy. Oh my god, I get to fucking see Malignancy. I'm so fucking excited. Oh, fuck yeah, I get to see Malignancy. I remember that band back in the day. I never got to see them, but I knew who they were. One of my roommates had that album, the Inner Nine Cannibalism, Inter Nine. I don't know how to say that word. They say it, that just rolls off their tongue. But if you were listening to that interview, you'll notice it, like one of the mics was fucking up and getting that staticky bullshit. It was really fucking annoying. Somebody in the comments of that said, "Goddamn, that mic sounds like Merzbow." Merzbow, Merzbow. Does anybody remember those noisecore bands from Release Records, Release Entertainment? That was like a subsidiary of Relapse Records. Did anybody listen to that crazy noise? And it's not like noisecore with like guitars like the Locust, that band The Locust Soundscapes album. Not like that. Not like the screamo noisecore. Like, this was generally like electronic noise. And it wasn't even musical. It was just noise. Digitized noise. Like, back in the day, you could take a CD-ROM and put it in your CD player and skip to the second track, and it would play like the soundtrack of the video game or whatever. Like, if we had video games and shit like that. I don't know if it still does it. We could do that back in the day. But some of those, if you put them in the CD player and played them, you got like all this weird noise and shit like that. It was like really awful. And anyways, Merzbow was one of those bands, and I think they were Japan. I could be wrong, but correct me if I'm wrong. I thought they were Japan, but the Japanese were like big into this. You could take these CDs, man, these noisecore CDs, put them in your CD player, and they were so fucking loud, so fucking atrocious. But like, rumor had it they were really bad for your CD player. So we experimented with boom boxes that we acquired. You know, they weren't our personal ones. We acquired them. Just for the purpose of this experimentation, we'd go to the parks in the middle of the night, you know, in Houston, you know, smoke a J, drink a couple beers, and play these fucked up albums and shit. I'm pretty sure we damaged a CD player by playing these noisecore albums. So that guy in the comments was like, damn, it reminds me. And I think you can listen to it on YouTube and it won't hurt the playback unit of your speakers. But back in the day, the CDs were actually really dangerous for your playback unit. Have with me an example. This is Exit 13, Ethos Musick, from Relapse Records. It's one of their earlier releases. It's kind of fun noise grindcore album. It's very pretty. Look at it, it's all pretty. Yeah. Anyways, it's just grindcore where they smoke a lot of weed and shit. But if you look at the warning, so I'm gonna put that up there for y'all. Hope that y'all can read that. Go through it. It's something like the Sony Philips standards. The over level indication. Yeah, this is not a practice they do in CD manufacturing, and Relapse is not responsible for power supply component, recording, processing, loudspeaker, or other transducer malfunction or failures, and or destruction of referenced audio playback systems. Please exercise extreme caution when utilizing this compact disc. This son of a bitch, if you play track 13, and the band's called Exit 13, like, first off, it was ungodly loud noise. It was just the most insane noise you've ever heard. We would put this in those things, and it would destroy them. Now, it would play the whole thing, but you'd notice after the next few listens that when you kept putting stuff in there, like, the shit kept messing up. We were like, do that, we'd play it, we'd all laugh and have a good time. And then we'd put in something we wanted to listen to, like Cryptopsy or something. And we noticed that the playback unit sounded different. We called it the vinylizer because it sounded like we were listening to a CD on vinyl or something like that. That little scratchy sound that you can hear on old record players. You had scratchy vinyl sound. And then eventually the CD players just stopped working. So this is a secret weapon here. You ever want to fuck up somebody's playback systems, you need this album. Just take it into somebody's house, crank up the stereo, put this on, lock all the doors, walk out. Of course, you may not get your CD back, but... So, here's a fun one. Shit, we're at 20 minutes. I kept thinking I didn't have enough content. Anyways, that's Revocation, Empire of the Obscene. Talking about some fucking metal. Interactive metal channel with Cattle Prod, your Appalachian warlord. Y'all take care. We'll see you next time.